Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Solar Factory. It's been a couple of weeks since 1.0 came out, and since then I've been fixing up the factory in general. I have started to do some expansion, and I'll explain that in a bit. But first, let's quick review where we got after the episodes 24 and 25, which was the episodes immediately after the release. Um, you can see here we've got I've set myself up in this particular view. So over in here you've got the nuclear gen setup, which is now functioning pretty damn well. In fact, it's functioning very well. I think to the point there where now, because of that, I have had to make some adjustments to uranium being fed into it. As you know, as you may know, there are 15 blenders at the sort of this just in here that are feeding the materials into the 18 manufacturers that are making the plutonium rods for the generators. Um, as a result of um, a change in how one of the nodes and lots of bits of I've got rid of a train network or train loop, I guess. There was a train coming from down here in the bottom right all the way through here to here, and then there was then being the uranium was then being belted through to this end. It turned out that probably never was functioning particularly well. And what I mean by that was, or is that the because the train has to stop, unload, and load, all that kind of stuff, the uranium would actually run out for a bit or stop flowing for a bit while it does that. And that was causing an issue whereby what I'd set up down there was there are three rows of blenders, each need 480 uranium per set of five. It overflowed from the say row A into row B, which now has overflow from row A, which is 600 coming to each one. So you now got an extra 120, I think, flows into row B, which is also now got which has the flow from the train network, and it just wasn't really functioning properly. So what I've now done is now you can kind of see it. There's now a dedicated belt run all the way through here, and it's actually been belted on a conveyor belt all the way through, bypassing that train part altogether. What that has meant is I've now got dedicated 600 into each of those first two runs. It overflows, both of them overflow into the third one. So I've got 240 as a base level being overflowed. And as a result of that, the uranium that's getting droned in from another part of the world um, is now basically being overloaded. It's just not going through it enough, which is a good thing. It means I've got enough uranium. Also means that the drones just hang around, not going anywhere. So I've got to adjust those drones a bit to make them a bit more efficient. The final effect of making those 15 blenders way more efficient is that the plastics that I was getting that was coming from Spire Coast to the Ingot area, which is sort of down in here behind all those pillars and cliffs there, was making plastic, making a bit of plastic itself, plus getting leftover plastic from Spire Coast, and that was then being belted all the way through from that end, all the way through, through here, and then through here. Because of that, because those blenders are now more efficient, the plastic that was being used in a little canister sort of little factory there is now using a lot more of them because it's now got to do a lot more of it. Result of that is plastic coming through to here is now way under what it needs to, because to the left of where I'm looking, we have a in one of those, I'll just point it there. So in one of these buildings, and specifically that one back there, I think, is running supercomputers, needing that plastic, but it's not getting anywhere near enough. So that production is now under. Not a big issue per se, because I only need 0.75. It was making 3, so I was always having excess anyway. But what that's led to is the new production setup or production requirements for quantum technology requires supercomputers, and I don't have enough being made. Is the upshot of all that sort of preamble. So what I'm starting to look for is looking for a place where I can basically build another supercomputer factory. What I've also started to do is build in some of this new quantum technology stuff. So if we actually come down and fall back, that's what we've got set up here. So you may recall from one of the early episodes, we've got some SAM ore, or just SAM, sorry, down a big friggin' hole behind this big rock in front of me. And as a result of that, I'm able to feed into here in front of us, that SAM, and then turn that into reanimated SAM, through here, which is feeding up into here, which is going to these storages, like so. That's it, that's all it does, nothing more than that. Some of that SAM, reanimated SAM, is coming out of this, coming out of the run here, into here. I've got some set up to go down to what will be the central storage hub, which I'll talk about that in a later episode probably. I'm gonna move it, I think, but you know, we'll come back to that in a bit. We've got some converters in here, which is converting iron ingots, which are being made down here from some iron ore, which is just sitting down there. And combining those two together, we get these fixite ingots, and they are going up into here and getting turned into these fixite trigons, and those are required, you can see in the top right hand corner, they are required for the current milestone, which is for Fixit Blueprints Mark III. I'm not particularly fussed to get those particular Mark III blueprints, but what that led to is the building of this thing. This thing is the quantum encoder. This is a big of a beast, and it makes a bunch of things. It makes three things: AI expansion server, superposition oscillator, and neural quantum processor. And that's what I need for Mark III. Now, I don't actually necessarily need the Mark III belts. I'm just going through the new Tier 9 milestones in order. I don't actually need to, because I actually really want this one. But I do actually need to make some superposition oscillators. So I'm just going to go through in order. I've got these by the bucket. I'll show you where they're being made, and that's what I'm talking about making through this this thing. So this quantum encoder makes the neural quantum processor, and it needs time crystals, supercomputers, hence the discussion I just had about all that stuff, Fixit Trigon, we just talked about it, I've got a bucket load being made, and this excited photonic matter. Now it turns out that I was really confused by how you made that. It turns out that if you just make let's see if I've got enough to make a quantum converter. I do. Yes. What I'll do is I'm just going to put the quantum converter down there and choose excited photonic matter, and I'll give this thing some power. It's a slightly odd thing, this. It doesn't actually need any input materials, it just makes it. I'm just going to feed it to this, and immediately it starts making this stuff. So that's kind of easy to make that thing. Just dismantle that, but that's what that's about. So basically, as a result of this needing this neural quantum processor, we've got to make time crystals. I'll show you that in a second. Supercomputers, we've got just enough of those. Fixit Trigon, and this excited photonic matter. So time crystals I have already started to make. So they are over in, I've put them over in the south factory area. Just mosey along over there. So time crystals needed, diamonds was the first input, and that's actually made from coal going into a particle accelerator, which is what's happening there. So we've got coal going in there at 600 a minute, and that's making 30 a minute diamonds. Diamonds 30 a minute. So it goes up there, goes along there, goes into a overflow, which overflows to the right, which I don't think it's going to do much overflowing at all at the moment. Goes back down and ultimately goes across into this guy. And this is two of them, needing 15 diamonds per minute each, so hence 30 divided by 2 gives us two of these. And they make 7.5 time crystals each. They go up to here and they are being stored in there. As you can see, I've got a bucket load of them, so I've got over nearly 2,500 of them. So we've got time crystals easily. We've got the fix-it trigon easily. We've got enough of those fuse modular frames, so the fourth item. I'm looking at the second row of 4 icons. And all we need to do is make those neural quantum processor things. Now I can make them here, I think. As I said, I can make the photonic matter because I just need a quantum converter to make one, so it's easy enough to do. Back to here. Got the time crystals, got that, so I could make this here, but this supercomputer at 3 per minute is kind of our problem. It's currently maxed out production over here in the west factory, in the west area. So over in here we've got our supercomputer factory. Now the supercomputers are also being used. I see them, they are just, where are they? There they are. There's a supercomputer just there, that row just at the back there. So we are making them over here and they are being used, I think, in the adaptive controlled unit. I'm not sure where they're made actually, what they're going into. But it needs 0.75. I'm making 3, or targeting to make 3. With the issue with the plastics I talked about, I'm nowhere near making 3 a minute. I'm running at 30 to 40%, which is probably making 1.5 to 2 a minute. So it's enough for what it's needed. So you can see it's making 3 a minute, and you can see at the moment it's running at just over 30% because the plastic is just not being fed enough. So if we come up to storage, which there won't be much of it, it's 0.75 used in the assembly directory system, which is actually over in the south factory area, over yonder. So if I can get the supercomputers back to full production, I only get 3 a minute of them, and I need 3.75 to properly feed both these two requirements. And it's going at, I can make it go fast and make it go 4, but my plastic is going to be a problem. So, and I may even not have enough of these other things as well. Computers won't be a problem. AL limiters I think I'm okay with. High speed connectors I'm not too sure about. So what I've started to investigate is if we can make another production tower somewhere, just making supercomputers at a pretty high volume, because I have a feeling they're going to be needed in other productions as well, but that's just a guess. So to that end I started looking for bits and pieces, and if we bring up the menu, the map, sorry, and we turn on resources, you can see right there I've got a radar tower, And if we zoom in there, there's quite a few resources in here. So we've got limestone, we've got coal, we've got nitrogen gas, I believe, we've got limestone, we've got some sulfur in a couple of different places. Limestone, iron ore, raw quartz, iron, cadmium. We've got a normal SAM, which is another reason why I'm sort of thinking of moving some production into here. So this is what I'm thinking of. It's also a normal impurity of that. So I'm thinking of building in here a factory area that makes supercomputers. I think I can do it there. The thing I'm going to struggle with a little bit, I think, would be the plastic, because it needs oil is one of its easier components to make it with, and there's none there, but there are some around this area, down in here, where the ingots are currently being made. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. Not too sure if I'll actually do it yet, but that's what I'm thinking. So I'm at a bit of an exploratory stage, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. Also, I've discovered that this sort of covered run right on top of here, if I moved it 5 foundations to the left, it's dead center of that and of that. So I'm going to move this whole setup, this, I'm going to basically dismantle this at some point, dismantle that at some point, and move everything to over here, and feed stuff that needs to feed into that setup from this pount. This one, as you can see, will now sort of disappear into the ether and sort of hang there. I'm thinking of moving some production from the other side, other end of the west factory to here, which is going to be the cable, which is the tall one there. AL limiters are behind it, and I think it's Catamaran behind that. Bring that to this side of the west factory, which will then make this belt run that comes out of it will now line up with this one. With the result of doing all that, we can then build the central storage hub right in the middle of the whole thing. And on top of that will be the space elevator, which once Complete 5 is completed probably won't need it after that, but that's what it's currently building, is up there. Is all that stuff up there. Now, I didn't have the space elevator built for many hours, because I'd done phase 4 ages ago and had never really sort of needed it again. So when this appeared, I was kind of somewhat surprised. I don't think I'd ever seen it before. It's quite an impressive structure. But that's what the whole thing is actually. That's what you're feeding stuff to do, is to make that thing expanded or whatever. So the idea would be that the central storage hub will be in the middle, and we'll somehow embed the space elevator inside of the storage hub somehow. Even if I've finished using it and don't need it anymore, I'm still going to build it in the middle anyway, just because it'll kind of look kind of cool. Anyway, that's the plan long term, but that's a long way off. So we're just making this stuff. Now we do have some more SAM ore. We bring up to this top right one. There's another SAM ore node just there. It's an impure one, so it's not that useful. So even maxed out with a Mark III miner going at 250%, I think that's maxed out at 300, or that's the most we can get out of that. So what I may end up doing is putting a big belt run between that and our drone port here, and droning some more SAM ore into where I am now. Maybe, not too sure yet. Anyway, that's another option. We don't have any more. I think there's some SAM ore in the middle of the map, but I'm not really sure. So there is more SAM ore around, but I just have not found it yet. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So the next sort of on the to-do list is to sort out the plastics. If I can increase the plastic production for the short term, I might be able to get that quantum encoder up and running and start building, at least making these neural quantum processors just for that tier, and then once I build it, get it out the way, you don't need it anymore. You can see the top row of things was the objective for phase 5. Left-hand side is nuclear pasta. I was making that a long time ago in one of my previous parts of this save, but I stopped making it. It was part of part 4 as well, I thought. So that's nuclear pasta. You then got the biochemistry sculpture, AI expansion server, and the ballistic warp drive. Now the AI expansion server is actually made in this quantum encoder. But if you have a look at with the recipe for it, so we choose the AI expansion server. It needs a magnetic field generator. I'm making these. Maybe not enough for a minute, but we'll see. We need quantum processors for this thing. Superposition oscillator. That's another recipe in here, which needs these things. So yeah, there's a lot I need. I need Alclad sheeting. I should have enough of. Crystal oscillators. I might be underneath. I might not have enough of that. Dark matter crystal. Where on earth does that come from? How on earth do you make dark matter crystal? Okay, so diamonds and dark matter residue. Dark matter residue can come from in a converter. Okay, so rare. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so that's easy enough to make. That we can make all these things. The volume could be tricky, so we need to make them. So we can make the AI expansion server because we need this. So there's a whole bunch of things we need to make. So we've got 1,000 of those, 256 of those. AI expansion servers. Oops, wrong thing. Hub. Biochemistry sculpture. What on earth is a biochemistry sculpture? Biochemistry sculpture. How do you make that? That's in a blender. Okay, so that's a assembly directory system. We're making those. Fix it. We're making those, and that just looks water. Okay, that's easy enough to make. Okay. And the other one was some sort of... What was the other one? Ballistic warp drive. Can't I make that yet? Okay, so I can't make that yet. Okay. I wonder when I get that. Ah, okay, so I've got to unlock tier... the spatial energy regulation milestone under tier 9 to get ballistic warp drive. Which now these two I'm really keen for. This is a main portal and a satellite portal. This will replace the little teleporter mod I had. Enables Pioneer teleportation between 2 linked portals. So you make a main portal somewhere, then you have a satellite portal that's a direct one-to-one link between them. So that's going to make a very useful part of the main central hub to basically teleport to each of the factory areas. So that's where we need to unlock that ballistic warp drive is inside, is part of that. And I think this is used to make, it's a one use thing to do the transportation of this portal, I think. Yeah, required to power portals. Anyway. Okay, what's that saying? What's it made in? Doesn't say. Required to for the warp drives to activate. So sticking them to rockets is literally the next step. Okay. And then this one I'm looking forward to as well because it's got the really fast belts. So yeah, I'm sort of in a little bit of limbo to a degree because I'm just in the middle of trying to fix the things up from the main from 1.0 and figure out what I'm going to do to make some of the things needed. So we might We might just go back to the that. So I have to store that residue as well. That's gonna be bugger. I might package that. Package it and store. Can you package it? Can the packager? Where's the packager? What do I need for the packager? Plastic. I'm hoping the packager can package that stuff. Packaged. Doesn't look like it. That's interesting. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if that's upgraded. I wonder if that's something in the MAM to get that. Okay. So I wonder how we can package that, get rid of that stuff. Anyway. So we're making just dead on enough for that. We've got enough for that. 45 minute of those things. I don't think I'm making enough. I don't think I'm making that many of those. Yes, I'm only making 20 a minute of the... No, that's not right. These things. So... okay, I'm making 60 a minute. Cool, okay. So we've got enough for that, and that is just made. So I think I might make that here, just so I can get this tier, this milestone done. So what we'll do is I will set up this building, this quantum encoding. See, it's quite large. It's 1, 2, 3. So it takes 7. Takes 7 foundations to fit, so it's not going to fit in my 6x6 thing I've got to set up, but I will probably build... I may start building... I'm not too sure what to do. Anyway, I've got to figure out where to put it. Even if it's only temporary, just to get past the milestone. So we can get the milestone ticked off. So we might just build it where we can for the time being, and then at some point we'll have to move it elsewhere. But that's what I need to do next, is start setting up that stuff. So we'll cut to that in a few seconds. Okay, done. Bit of a rush job. So I've built what would be a extended 2 production towers joined together with no path between them. So I've got 14 by 6. Underneath we've got built the 4 layers of logistics levels. Bottom level we've got those time crystals coming in from basically over. Essentially, they're coming from where that wall is just there, far side there. That's where they come in. Next level up we've got the supercomputers. They're coming in from the far end. As I said, not particularly clean, but either way it works, does the job. We then have on this level we've got those fix-it trigons coming in, and on the very top level we've got our converter making our excited photonic matter at 200 a minute. And this thing needing 75 a minute, so it's going to have to be scaled way back. 75 a minute. There we go. What we're going to do is grab a pipe and join that to that. And grab a power line and join that to that and get that started. Should go straight into that. Cool. And then we'll put power to this. And you should start seeing the time crystals come in. Now, we then start seeing this neural quantum processor come out at 3 a minute. I didn't actually take note. How long is that thing going to make? How long does it take to make? So we get 3 per minute. It takes 20 seconds to make 1. Okay. It does say that power fluctuates an awful lot. And then we've got this dark matter residue, and that's going to make it stop now because it's full. So, first things first, let's just go up. How far do we need, how high do we need to go up? Make this 6. 1, 2, 3, 3 more. That's high enough. Good. Actually, might make this an 8-story one. The logistics level at 7. Alright, that's that bit. Now assuming it's got head lift. Dark massive residue. So normally the liquid has got a head lift, but I'm thinking that might not be a... I think that might be some sort of residue, might be a gas maybe. So therefore it might not need head lift. Let's see what we end up with. So what do we... Okay, looks to be filling up. Okay. So I don't know what I'm doing with this stuff. I'm not too sure what to do with it. Okay, so definitely just fill up, so it's a gas. Cool. So what is this stuff called? Dark matter residue. Okay, can we get dark matter crystal? Okay. That is a particle accelerator. Combine that with diamonds. Okay. Yeah, we've got 11 of them. So... okay. I like that beam of light that comes up through the middle of it, so I'm going to build a... around that. Well, it's running. It's going to stop running when that's full, which at the rate of, what was it, 75 a minute is going to take roughly half an hour to fill up, and then that'll then stop. That half an hour will make about 90, so we might make enough just to get our 100 that we need for the milestone, and then it probably doesn't really matter if it stops functioning for the time being anyway. So yeah, it's a really neat little machine. Well, not a little machine, it's a neat machine, and the way it's animated is really cool. It's very neat. Just go to a power pole. Alright, so maximum consumption is 71,000, just under 71,500. That's going to fluctuate because the machines are fluctuating. And then we're consuming about 63.5. Now the production is going up and down because I've got some I've got a couple of fuel generators that aren't quite getting enough fuel to function at 100%. Hence why the fuel goes up. It goes up by 500 and down by 500. But that'll do for episode 26, I think. Next one back, we'll keep doing what we're doing. We'll unlock that milestone for that milestone. We'll unlock it. We'll have enough to unlock it. We've got enough. In fact, what we might do is we might just grab 200, 200, 600 of those. Grab the time crystals. Go grab some time crystals from the storage over here. So I'm pretty sure I have enough. I have the 250 time crystals sorted, already stored. So there's the time crystals coming along there. Goes along there, and then on that bottom level all the way through, and then up. So over here. We need 250. Let's see what we've got. Oh, here's 200. Grab 600 of these. And then we'll just be waiting for the 100 of the new little things, neuro quantum processor thingies. Nope, that's not where I wanted to go. So, okay. So, done. Done. Not quite enough, but we should have some more in here. Alright. I assume we're going to need that stuff, so I'm just going to store that stuff in there. And plunk some of that in there as well. So all we now need is our 100 Neuro Quantum processor, which has been made in that building over, well, shell of a structure over here. We're about 20 or 30 over here, I think, by now. Yep, 40, just under. And that's third floor, give or take, third floor. Right, when we come back for episode 27, I will have unlocked Fixit Blueprints Mark III. All that basically is a bigger version of that blueprint designer down there, which gives more volume in the cube to build your blueprints. I've not really used blueprints at all much. I think if I was to use them, I would probably use them to build some of the structures to hold up buildings. For example, these sorts of, I'll zoom in on that, on those structures there. You can see those little those little pillars holding things up. I'd probably build a blueprint for the bottom, for the bit that sticks to the bottom of the foundation, and that'll be a blueprint. Don't need that up here. But that's probably all I can really think of using it for. So yeah. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and until the next one, see ya, bye.